talk about 30 on my channel. Now the profile picture I have from Mariah Carey, the ice cream is my cause and effect. Recently what happened with the game was, as scheduled, really I was open to take the dog out, from 8 to 8:30. What happened was they rushed me really to take CeeLo out, 8 on the dot. Same thing with this morning. The meat is resorting to touching me, but this is not all for the video. What that means essentially is that they ignored that a gang member is a toxic monster. I couldn't be perfect all the time and put me under pressure. 30 is a very confusing age for my channel, guys, so don't think that it's anything special. 30 is only skateboarding atop of downer pros. Now what they do in your head, but what you got back in actuality are two different things. Being that this video is the history behind my channel, Lily, before things got hectic, before she asked me to go back to school. Anyway, Lily, I only got one fan that Lily said my name fully, Mood Tricks on the street. When I first got my subs back in 2020, they asked for physical validation. I knew that physical validation was gonna come with physical retaliation. So I only got to see one fan one time, specifically saying that I have you on Instagram, not asking Lily to see my subs on his feed, which is what I needed to get actual evidence to my family, which is what I would like right now. So the physical threat stopped me from asking for real validation and forced me to play off common sense. Before I go into the season for this video, I'd have to state that from my knowledge, Lily, my mom's 30 and her 29 was way worse. I mean, because she banged, I was telling her everything through about, because he banged, she ended up worse than an autistic kid. So first off, the story about, Tommy, David, anybody at 30 is that, every adult at this age was way more premiums of dollars in debt. But guess what they did? They showed something front so they won't be like the autistic kid. I see in the pool, Lily, I see the reverse psychology of my mom at 30, literally having the kids, front facing that you can show, but being trillions and double trillions of dollars in debt because it's embarrassing, and that's why mom went all through, literally. And then my grandma said, don't get with Bobby, literally, and Bobby is more successful than her in one area, not another. And what ends up happening is, my mom ends up going through turmoil, literally, because she was their lesbian gang. So what happens, literally, is that she's fucking up the laundry. I mean, she's leaving the laundry on the outside of the door fence, literally, and what happens is he ends up having heart problems because of smoking. Her jewelry went away in front of grandma, and she said that happens when you bang, pumpkin. And work for her, telling her that this is the autistic kid's time, not you. Literally, stop banging. Stop looking for a friend. Literally at 30 and 29, she was still complaining about friends. Literally and fitting in. Like in the charade, she had Chris at 30 and she had me at 35. Then everything's aligning because 29 is when Armand died. So it's one big government case. I heard you can't really get your shit together, until you're actually 33. Because she had me at 35. I guess what ended up saying from her, 29, she went from literally Down syndrome, thinking she's a shit, literally fucking up the chores at the time of grandma, Lily, and then getting her a rich charge, Lily. When you asked her, Lily, when you talked to her in her face, she said that she had her job at Stanford for over 35 years. A little clip of your youngerness, she was student in school a little bit with math or arithmetic. Lily is supposed to blur you up. I said, fuck nah. Anyway, to start off this video, and the truth behind this video is that the success behind the video started off for a season. In season 1, I explained Justin Fallen, Jaylene the Terror was the example on my channel. That's when I was playing around with Timothy Delgado, therefore knowing that it's still the time of cringe. So guess what happened? I made a playlist called Uncle Jiraiya, not Sonny, but Uncle Jiraiya. For a general audience, that's what the Ariel told me. So Mood Tricks is just a parody channel that just saw a pun just like YouTube poops. That eventually evolved to 50 Cent over time. So the first playlist was the example of Jaylene the Terror, a girl that actually got cock-blocked. For me in junior high that was getting hit on by Matt Vinci, a YouTube classic. Jaylene goes like this, Lily, beat the best dancer in school, GL, Lily become the next Naruto, believe it. Bits and sprinkles of my manga on the channel. Told you a story about Matt, Lily, Allie, and how nobody cared. The pinnacle of my success on YouTube that everybody was laughing at, they gave me the almighty echo where I didn't care what my mom said, was Justin Fallen, an old school story about my friend Justin in junior high, who sung a VeggieTales song with, and what happened was he was cracking up the jokes. I knew people getting kicked out of their cause and effects apartment. I knew that they're getting kicked out of their group homes. Peter was laughing, I knew my mom was laughing. Lily, I stuck in Incognito like Peter was Andre, Lily, and Taz was Raj. Got for my friends so I can get them in the studio. And that was the thing for common sense, blood, Lily, is that you didn't understand that, Lily, I made this amazing video on YouTube that referenced Justin Bieber, that Lily had Super Saiyan 1 Goku kicking the shit out of Justin Bieber, Lily, that went viral on YouTube, and everybody gaslighted me like my channel never existed. I started laughing. So in doing so, the exact same year, 2020, is when I started, to make jokes about, Timothy Delgado, like Arturo, and we were in the bathroom. He said, "I got big dick." What happened was I had Tekaichi, gameplay where Fate, not serious Tekaichi gameplay like in the past. So Justin literally also was on the same playlist as my adult, knowledge of this world, which is Karma. Karma Kai literally had 2 advanced principles where it came to graphic design. A border, an advanced border that was the same color scheme as the video, and the pan zoom, something I learned on my own, through the ARL that I timed at the right time. And I negotiated with a scientist in the government saying that if you want every video to be on Karma Kai, you have to give me physical validation. And I already told you, somebody warned me and threatened me then. So in doing so, literally I created season 1 on my channel by telling you all the stories about me in junior high. We should have never been close for cosplay, and Mixing the 2 was a great way to start because I understood that it was still cringe. So in doing so, what happened in next year, that was defining, that was the best year for America, by myself, but still, on paper, not recorded, which is how a gangster gets over on the government, was 2021. Now, a good essential part of this video is they have to understand, a gangster stopped me from seeing my shine, because when I left the hood, I knew what me versus my mom was. I knew to play off common sense with Henry, I knew to play off, literally, it's just the Vario, I knew to play off, a lot of things, but what's even more important about me and my mom, and the reason why I did the one hill to get information, the reason why I ate all that chicken with Mr. Young was because I was trying to structure my life to get real shit, to go to islands, to go to tropics, to go to amazing places, alright? And here I am stuck at the house. It's true. They know that literally when you're in the hood, you say the right thing at the right time. You explain the situation through your mom and your family that if you score high, you get real shit. There are people like Jackie, there are people literally like the pastor that are brought down to autism that can't get things, that are better than autism literally because the government played them. Oh, you thought you were going to do this, and that, literally without integrity, literally. So some people work just as hard as me, but forgot to turn something into Aritza and did a whole bunch of other shit, I had Sunny turn me into Aritza in the reality show. But the bottom line is when season 2 came along is when I explained the story about Namrata, my first spanking in junior high. And they evolved to one whole year of being soulful. Literally, I explained the story about Alberto. Literally, so what I did was, why I was complaining is that I explained about older brother, anti-Itachi's video, but actually Chris Moody's video, and then I got all the way to Chris's third, literally all the way to 26, and we all know that 26 is all about me and face videos. Try to make this video 8 minutes, or less, but it's impossible due to that amazing detail. Season 2 came along. Literally, the difference between season 1 and 2 is season 1 is actually corny, but season 2 literally is a deep story about the world. That's why it involved Spanking, that's why it involved my uncle, that's why it involved the government, and it ended off with my Uncle Tommy putting him, for Steve, the character as American Dad, as Uncle Tommy in Brick House Bandit. The year where I promoted my anime, and I played off common sense because what I did was I went to conventions and got numbers, from girls and stuff, and that I played off the fact that I met the voice actor of Vegeta in real life and that he had an infatuation for me. I also knew the game Crip pretty well. I knew Busta Rhymes, Eminem, that everybody was a Crip. The problem, literally, as scientists, were calculating for our first 1 and 2 seasons, was they saw that literally how YouTube work is that if you have copyrighted content, you can't, make videos. But 2021, I was making soundtracks for the songs, I was making soundtracks for the videos, I was making soundtracks for the movies. This is all not copyright content, literally. So what ends up happening is that's break with a ruler, okay? When you have a landslide against your family, they saw that, and he said that he can't have that for the hood. So what happened was, season 1, was fading away, and when season 2 came along, is when we started transitioning to 2022, which is a more social year for my child, when we actually got to test out my audio program, Dark Game Audiobook, which is a program I made that's really retarded. If you know everything about child, literally, it's just a game to literally have you play jousting, like spacecraft, like Star Trek for nerds. Literally, it's for nerds, literally, to have expression, literally, and to collect their girlfriends. Because guess what, literally, 9 times out of 10 people who read Dark Game literally know anime, so it makes men social. That's made an audio program for you to play a game, but what I did, was I made general examples. But when you hear literally me talk about a dance battle, literally 1 foot of lungs, just believe that's just to make you play a game. Okay, so one thing I want to say in this channel, literally, is that when I literally recovered, my excuse is that I recovered all those years, back when I was making those A&Bs for local rappers like Raven Justice and Nef DeFaro. Said all I did was suffer from those years of not putting 2 and 2 together to the point when I was broke at 30. Literally, so contrary at 30, literally, you know how to explain my mom. Another thing I was gonna say earlier on in this video is like you see how I watched, the Gundam, literally, the Dorothy and Radiant Witchcraft. is that, you know, that's how old I am in actuality. So when I look at Gundam, you know, fucking, that's how good I am in the military, that's how old I am, you know, in actuality. But, you know, when you put me up against, you know, this crackhead downstairs, is that, you know, I can't fight back, so it doesn't matter. I got that shit this morning while I was watching Wheel of Fire. You know, it was, somebody looking at a pit of lava and fire, you know, that's me and him, you know, you're not allowing me to fight back, so it's like, whatever. Even prior to that, those years when I wasn't putting two together, you gave me a legitimate excuse when it comes to facial expression and soul size, and therefore I knew everybody was married. Literally, people didn't like them on the inside, they were just doing that to make me jealous. Literally, they were married based off a facade. Literally, this and that, I can call it out. I'm cool, literally, I have my imaginary friends, literally, I have my anime, I have this and that. I don't need people's approval. Literally, I finally recovered from high school. What happened was they ended up feeling me because I came from a more organic generation. I explained on my channel, literally, that even though you trapped me in cringe, I explained that even back when I was in junior high, they have the purple hair, which is why I still come from an organic generation, and my response every time is cringe. So here's the repeat of this video, is that literally from 2022, which is when I got 5150, season 3 came along, I had a whole bunch of perspective. You know why? Because I put my music on the radio, I knew my anime was already straight on paper, I waited for my uncle to say something about the studio, and then I made a whole bunch of work. You know, I put music, so you were forced, you know, to put it on TMZ and Wild 'N Out. This and that. So what happened was I saw myself on Wild 'N Out with a nose ring that was still incognito, and guess what? For an excuse for this video, literally, I saw myself, literally, I knew they wanted me to submit to homosexuality in some way, shape, or form. I saw myself grabbing my homeboard, Robert Wilson's dick. Literally, I'm like, whatever, you know, fucking, because it wasn't happening in this filter, so I said, fuck it. So what happened was I saw Billy's in this filter, I saw this and that, but I didn't get paid one penny. Literally, and what happened was I learned more about a gang, and what happened recently was, you know, aside to the fact that, you know, I killed Armand, literally, the two girls that literally double upon the most weird gang, it's the two women that let me do both TNA and porn, literally, and then thought a gang could save them. They're both Nikki and Lisa Zapata. Hey, they let me do everything, and then they double upon a gang, not forgetting about hard dogs, bullets from Northeast every day. I know people being dead and controlled it was a part of blood. I had a whole bunch of perspective like this, but not where it dragged on for years. So what I said was, I'm like, bullshit. So if you're calling, you know, Uncle Tommy downstairs, you know, about in the mind, you're hinting real frequency. Like one of the examples this morning was, you know, I had a notification to pay my PlayStation bill, and what ends up happening is, you know, I had the perspective of, you know, saving $300 a month because I couldn't use my card this month because, you know, it got compromised. So I cut it up. Literally, that's one joke they make. Oh, you fucked up or dead because when you cut up the cord, you look like freezing. I'm like, see you freezing you all throughout. So in doing so, literally, even though I have a fresh 300, literally that's 79 is hit the frequency. That's why the man downstairs is gonna say that's a lot of money. Okay, so you have to understand. All right, so in doing so, you know, they hit me with frequency, even though I know everything. So I'm like, if that's the case, then why I keep standing responsibility? More responsible. I mean, the more proportion that outweigh for it literally is that say it sound, which is why literally no matter how much you double pipe with some, I said responsibility, and I was responsible for every member of Foundation. So let's get down to the reality show where I had tons, you know, of effects, literally had tons of this and that, and where I drew it to have was the character Bree. Bree's Day, literally a character I made back in 2021. So what I did was I made all the scripts for movies, I made soundtracks for movies, and 2021 was a beautiful year, but 2022 our characters got expensive, especially with GOM. So 2022 is what got me cocky for a hood. So this is the pinnacle, what I did in the hood, because we can't have a season 4 without physical foundation, because it is part of a government conspiracy, okay? Because season 3 goes like this. Season 3 is when I worked for, you know, corner videos to Tim together, and I was playing a game my child the whole time. So season 3, I show you the entire game. I tell you a story about Isaiah, by showing you rappers like Andre and Nickatina, but showing you Gene, I'll show you everything. Literally, I was gonna make a video about how Sonny is the ultimate feeler, and how feelers work is literally the G in junior high, literally where you leave off on the point, literally where it comes to socializing. Okay, that's a video for another time. Now, in doing so, you know, when I upload more videos, you know, like I say, literally how I was carrying him around, like that's my last cigarette ever, you know, referencing Family Guy, was the world became more dank, literally. So what happened was I saw, you know, society evolve, you know, understanding of my anime in society, saying if you don't like it my way, you don't get a free thing. So guess what ends up happening? Because I kept on spamming, you know, the original game in Dark Jeans, it became a one-tone society where you can still box, but everything comes from Oxymoron, because boxing 9 times 10 comes for lesbians. Season 3, I told the story about I actually got a Tim in my class. Literally became the next team to deal together when it was reinstated. Was 2022. Literally at 23, I was still in the hood. I had a whole bunch of perspective, but what happened literally as soon as I got home for 24, literally was I got Verizon wireless bill. You know, I checked up on it yesterday, and they say called customer service, and then, you know, a gang threatened me. You know, to a thing that I could explain, but I'm not trying to explain it now because I can't be justified. Therefore, 2024, I started doing amazing things like playing basketball, and by 2025, really, I could do the hoopers round, in and out and expand from Grossology, a good thing that was on TV. So I had a TV channel called primotv that was made by fans. Nothing could expand because of bullshit. The moral of the story is you bugged me up for 2 years, and when it comes to rolling it out, I saw myself on TV within 2. Gave me hope that's what carried us straight, but now, just like an orientation at a job, you can't fool me without full validation, because guess what happens when I hit the promote button? And that's all for this video.